Denmark versus Belgium. I don't know who you guys think is going to win, but I feel like Denmark is going to win. They have the stronger roster. Denmark, I feel like, is just stronger on paper, and they're the stronger team.
TP from Shockwave. That's okay. So it's not going to be a swap.
Alex, I appreciate the massive 16 months, my friend. And yep, appreciate the massive 5 gift subs.
Pharmacy, so going to be doing some damage from above, just around the corners of this point here, and it's kind of up to Doge to like mitigate that as best as possible. Denmark should be able to get first control over the point here because Belgium can't really commit to it.
Oh man, so much talking.
Right
I love it.
Yeah, that's super unlucky for
Norway's not going to win,
there,
I said it.
Or just a really good shot from
just because you live there.
But this pharmacy composition, Ken looking to get some work done, destroy that shield on the Reinhardt early, but it seems like they can't really get a say in edge-wise over on this point. Ken, however,
I don't think we have anyone from Denmark, Belgium coming to talk to us.
On Logic's Tracer, and that's just a lot of damage to go out over onto Doge. So all of a sudden, Denmark crumble and Belgium flip point.
And that's kind of like death by 1,000 cuts there. Like, you know, they do take down Slay. And like I always say about this Sim May composition, especially on Village here, it's great at holding the point. It's not so great at capping the point. So once it slips through Denmark's grasp, yeah, you can see they're making wholesale swaps. Like, I think literally only Kelix is the person, like the only person on Denmark that didn't make a swap here. So now we're on D.Va with the Sombra Tracer. And I think this is still something that Denmark can excel at. They almost lost Slay early there again. They can't be doing that, though.
Yeah, Slay, the source of basically all their hurt burst healing. Doge, however, Antide is going to have to wait a second for that re-engage, so that it's just the point, it keeps ticking for Denmark as they've been able to flip it back over Belgium.
Which team is winning this? Denmark for sure. Hold
on. Though in the hands of Logix could do some serious damage, but not if Shockwave's going to go behind. But Ken's there with the cover on the barrage. Now another DPS ultimate in the back pocket.
He got ulted and then he said fan.
Fan in the chat. The solo barrage, yeah, Shockwave saying that's fan behavior, but like, I mean, you take that, like the barrage is gone, you've just taken out Logix now, Denmark still have control of the point, and like the trade-off was like, they took out Potanova really early, and like, yeah, I'll kill an Ana and then happily be solo barraged, and then, you know, you got an ult and a support out for free, like, you can trade your life for that, like, that's totally okay.
Yeah, I mean, the barrage also was built up pretty quickly, but over here on Belgium's side, okay. Naga just walked right into a rocket, unfortunate. But there's the Valkyrie now coming out from Chava.
You know what?
Opening that was left by Naga's non-presence, but Shockwave does have that EMP, and the
all the teams that were
both of these tracers.
Playing against Saudi Arabia need to watch how Denmark is playing this fucking comp, because Belgium is playing the Mercy Farah, but Denmark is doing a great job.
Honestly, I would take that.
Of countering that team.
Denmark's in a pretty good position. You can tell, like, they don't invest any ults to try and hold that because they know they're at, like, one fight territory, and they have, you know, a full house right now. Like, they can just royally flush this right down for them. Go in with an EMP, try and catch maybe Ken, get him out of the sky there. It looks like that's what Shockwave kind of wants to do. Or maybe just go for it on the point. Yeah, he caught Ken out on the point.
Yeah, that's an excellent EMP, catches so many of Belgium's players, and they do go for the nano boost over onto Ken, and Ken's able to survive the onslaught for a few seconds because of it, but Denmark still flips the point nonetheless, andKen doesn't have the Mercy in the pocket
Sombra is so bad, why are they playing it? Sombra is...
primary fire.
What do you mean Sombra is so bad? They're winning!
Down the Farah in the air, now on side of Denmark. 2 ultimates still available after that fight with Kitsune Russian Sound Barrier as well as EMP expended, but they should be able to force Belgium back further and not even a touch to come through before Denmark finds that first point.
Yeah, with like no Lucio and the only fast hero on Belgium's side being Logix, like, yeah, that was kind of your only opportunity to touch there, and Denmark just like completely
Shockwave is not on. What team does Shockwave play for? He doesn't play on Luminosity, not Luminosity. Titans anymore, right? Vancouver.
Most of what Ken was doing was just like kind of systematically finding like a rocket here and a rocket there that amounts into a kill, and it's been phenomenal Farah play. But it hasn't really been like enough, you know. Denmark, like they're wise to this. They're you know, they're too smart to keep following.
Okay,
that,
and
they're
NYXL?
not gonna just let Ken get into a position where he can do more than solo barrage Shockwave. So We're going to see Denmark swapping back onto that rush comp, dishing the Reinhardt, now going for the Ramatra, but Shockwave going back over onto that Sombra. Ken on the Echo still wants to take to the skies, but wants to be something a little bit less Mercy dependent.
Yeah, so now we see the Denmark...
Hey, I appreciate the massive support, my friend. You could sub on YouTube, technically. We do have YouTube subs. We really wanted to do that, but I appreciate it, my friend. Any support is great support. I appreciate it.
Back and forth, but in general, Denmark should be able to capture.
And Fat Boy, appreciate the massive prime sub as well, my friend.
And forcing Shira back as well, not looking like they are able to get a touch. Denmark flipping it over to White and just brawling with the D.Va on the side.
I keep looking at these situations right now where like Denmark is just kind of taking the point and Belgium's not touching it to contest it. I'm wondering where Logix is, because like you could be using that Tracer to try and like slow things down, try and alleviate some of the pressure, but I think he's trying to like take duels elsewhere and it's just not really panning out because no one from Denmark really seems to be going down. Like, he's doing some damage, yeah, but he's not really catching anybody out. Shockwave, though, gets caught out by a spy check there, but is able to hack the Mega before he translocates out. That's going to be, if nothing else, pretty annoying for Belgium to not have that as a resource, but nonetheless, time for them to try and go in and get another...
Can D.Va eat ram punches? I don't think so, no.
Is able to come in and make some magic.
It's this time going to be that nano boost onto Ken once again, and I think that's what they're trying to do to make them less dependent on that Mercy. There's a stick to come through from Logix.
Holy shit, that tank is still alive.
Doge finally does go down to the boosters from Shira, but the EMP from Shockwave might be able to delay. However, with the Mei wall, it's not looking for a way back into the point. Now just a fight for survival as they're waiting for their supports to regroup with themselves. The contest comes through with Kelix, but he does go down quickly from the focus fire, and Belgium finally flips the point over, going to have to surrender that from Denmark.
And like using that EMP in a losing fight there might seem kind of egregious if you're Denmark, but like that's okay because, you know, this is Belgium's first time getting any percentage. You have time.
Orange, I appreciate the massive new tier 1 as well, my friend.
Shockwave's already 40% to it, did enough work in that fight to build up to it. So if Denmark even need it, that's still an option for later on down the line, but they want to go in right now. That's a huge boop there from Kelix.
Okay, Kelix knocking off the most of the sustain of Belgium off the edge of a cliff. It's going to have to be the duplicate forced out with the annihilation now onto the Ramatra to try and get that little bit of extra sustain. But Belgium, Ken is just being melted. There's a self-destruct. Shockwave is
This is a great match. This is a great match. Doge is popping off.
Onto this Baptiste to try and get that little bit of extra ball.
This is going like literally back and forth.
Denmark coming out on top after expending, I think it was 2 ultimates, both that sound barrier and annihilation.
Yeah, and like again, going back to Shockwave's EMP, right now, like now Denmark are at 80%. It's gonna be one fight, and Shockwave should be able to get the EMP.
Wait, Meg, you know these players.
Even if he doesn't, you have a Blizzard. You're gonna have an Amp Matrix, and if they find an early pick, like there won't even be a chance.
Get one of them on the stream again.
Logix versus Slay here. Keep a close eye on this one because Kelix is already fallen actually.
And this is such a good fight from Belgium already. Ken is so good on this Echo and finding a lot of value. That last duplicate wasn't enough to win them the fight, but already building up to one very quickly and flipping that point over. Denmark in one fight territory, of course. EMP coming up very shortly from Shockwave.
Ethan, appreciate the massive 1 whole year, my friend.
From Denmark, they could potentially make a lethal combo with these 2 DPS ultimates and the Amp Matrix to boot.
Has anyone played Lifeweaver and the World Cup? Yes.
Being used.
South Korea ran and they literally were fucking rolling with it. Well, it's because it's...
And then the mecha is done and dusted.
Yeah, it's South Korea.
They are able to get that pick down onto Logix. Denmark, they're in such good territory right now.
To be fair, they only played it when they held the other... They full held the other team, so they only needed to push like a little bit.
Not before taking down Naga. The sound barrier has to come out. The overhealth and the shields onto Denmark squad will keep them alive for a few moments longer. Logix spamming down onto Doge. Gotta transform into Nemesis form for that survivability, and Slay has been able to boost jump onto the elephant and escape some of the damage that Logix has been outputting. However, the touches from Logix are so good to keep Belgium in the game. Finally, the Blizzard does come through from Denmark. Naga forced into the ice block. The Villager doesn't do enough damage. Logic's brought down really low, and the Pulse Bomb brought up through that fight.
Oh man, Denmark.
Finish things off for
that
Denmark.
was a good
Finally,
match. Good round right there.
I want to see what Denmark comes out here with. You know, you gotta imagine, like, you know, Shockwave might go to something hit scanny as well. Shockwave on the Ashe has been historically a pretty solid hero for him. And then, you know, of course, you also have Naga, who has been phenomenal on a lot of the flex DPS. You kind of associate him with Mei, but is no stranger to playing, like, you know, your Genjis or your Pharahs or any of your other heroes that you might see. So, yeah, I like this pick for Belgium for the potential there. But I also kind of am looking at Denmark and being like, yeah, this also kind of suits them.
Yeah, I can definitely see it where Denmark can be strong on a map like Numbani, but Belgium also, maybe we're going to see why this is their map pick as well. Logic's going to stick to the Tracer, but like you kind of predicted, the Ken goes on to the Ashe, while Shira going to pick that Diva. So kind of sticking to their guns a little bit, but on the other hand, Denmark, Naga going on to the Echo, and this is definitely a lot more air control than they previously put a lot of focus on.
Yeah, but like, so with Belgium, there's no mercy to pocket Ken, so this Echo isn't going to be under quite as much threat. Chaba's mostly going to be using the whip shots to repel Molfig.
A 5-star dude, appreciate as a prime sub, my friend.
You know, use the rocket boosters to get up onto the high ground. Chaba wants to make sure that doesn't happen, but as far as the Echo goes, Brigitte can't really do much of anything, so like, the pressure is on Ken, who's not going to have like that extra little bit of damage to get that bird out of the sky. So like Denmark, I think once they identify this, they kind of have an in. Shockwave gonna go ahead and go to the Hanzo to try and pressure some of Ken's angles as well. And yeah, just gonna really make it difficult for Ken to get anything done.
Yeah, Ken is going to be looking in two different directions, but as I say that, Logic's immediately taking down Kellex makes Naga very, very vulnerable here, which Ken capitalizes on, very obviously. Shockwave going to have to back off as soon as Logic is just going to go get a nice little 3-piece for himself while they eliminate that last tank. Molfig going to go down and out into the Baby Diva mech now.
You know, just gonna stagger out Molfig, like let him go back into.
I'm actually really surprised.
Jump off the point there, so that's gonna be a lot of time actually bled out for Belgium there. That's a really great first fight, and again, like you said, like taking out Kellex, taking out the Mercy is everything there because it means that suddenly Naga is under a lot of pressure. There's no more heals, no more lifeline. You know, Slay has to be scoped in like every different direction to try and keep everything up, and that's just it all just kind of crumbles from there because you're really banking on Naga getting something done, and if you just can't, then you know there is nothing to be done. Ken gives up the high ground here though, so Naga gonna go in with the nano boost.
Yeah, the nano boost now on to
How long did you stream yesterday?
But instead of going for
I think I did 22 hours, and then before that another 9, so I did over like 30 hours yesterday.
Shira looking to re-engage, having the self-destruct in the back pocket as well, so could potentially take a lot of damage without consequence, but Naga now finding Chaba, it's going to leave Pondonova very, very vulnerable. The self-destruct does come through, and nothing found by it, but does clear up a lot of space. However, Tick goes in the way of Denmark anyway, still contesting the objective relentlessly.
No, I was up for 2 days yesterday. I did a 9-hour stream before for the first day. Then I took like a 3-4 hour break, and then I took an hour nap, and then I did the 22-hour stream.
A team kill for Denmark to start things off on Numbani.
I was actually I was awake for like 2 days.
Belgium getting forced off that high ground means they have to invest the nano,
Twitch is cool. Prison Massive 8 months.
Bomb, all just to try and hold the point.
Never again. I'm not doing that again.
They don't end up actually doing that, and they were forced to make that investment, and they were forced to make that error. And Denmark, you know, they're able to hold on to 2 huge ultimates and build up to the Valkyrie as well. It only really cost them, you know, the nano to initiate and the self-destruct to allow Molfig to remech there a little bit along the way. So, yeah, like Denmark, they just kind of outposition Belgium and force a couple of those errors. Bob now going to come out to contest, but that's only really going to buy Belgium time. Killing Kellex is going to buy them some space, though.
Yeah, Naga is going to have to play a little bit safer, play around the pillar instead, the glide away, looking for the heals from
Pinky,
Slay
appreciate
as
it.
well.
Get this
and
up.
Since Molfig is also brought down very low, it seems like they're looking for a disengaged Ken, however. A nice few shots, Slay taking down Logix with the nade, so both these teams slightly staggered, playing a little bit more passively. Shira going to come back and defend for the back line as Denmark is regrouping.
I mean, Denmark are still, like, they're sitting pretty. Like, they still have a decent ult bank with, like, you know, nearly 3 minutes and some ults as well. But this gives that bought Belgium some time to build to some more. This rally is going to stall things out just a little bit. This Dragon Strike shouldn't kill anybody, but it is going to force a lot of positioning, and Chaba actually gets caught out by that.
Belgium's actually doing a great job
the Dragon Strike, and it's just so much space that's gained
holding
by
up with Denmark. I thought Denmark was just going to roll them.
Now Logix with the Pulse Bomb is still going to attempt to contest, but Slay does find the Tracer and Naga as well, finishing things off. It's just a cleanup crew from Denmark after that Dragon Strike was initiated, and now they're almost all the way up to that self-destruct again, and the Nano Boost is ready for them as well. On the other side,
3.5 minutes for third phase
in the form of Podonono's Nano Boost. It's just the mirror with the addition of the Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, third phase is going to be hard to cap.
There. And like I said, like Brigitte doesn't really do much of anything against an Echo, and I think Naga now knows that the skies aren't going to be, you know, quite as easy to access on this third point, and, you know, now that you have Ken with the Mercy, like, yeah, switching to the Tracer here is a good heads-up play there from Naga. The cart keeps trudging forward. Logix with the Pulse Bomb, though. No, doesn't even need it.
Immediately. Yep, Slay goes down so fast, and Kelix is nowhere to be seen to help and defend. Now Kelix isolated.
Logix is waking up. Okay.
Logix, a huge flank to stall out Denmark for a few more minutes, and the Pulse Bomb still in the back pocket, not having to invest that ultimate just yet, allowing Ken to build up to the Bob as well.
And that was kind of like another situation where they kind of just left Slay a little bit too far behind, and the peel didn't come through in time. Yeah. Like, you did see Mulfig come back with the defense matrix, but by then, like, it was just to try and keep Shockwave alive. And you know, Denmark, they just kind of crumble there. Belgium, they're doing a good job holding here, and they've got a pretty decent ult bank to keep it going. Gonna try and like let Denmark come around this corner before they start to pull the trigger on anything, though.
This definitely looks like a lot more traditional dive comp out of Denmark. The Bob does come through, the sleep onto the Bob though, and they're going to just try and avoid hitting that ultimate altogether. Molfig now eating all the damage possible with the defense matrix and self-destruct in the back pocket to potentially clear up the space. They are pushing very close,
they're going in.
And Belgium is
this is the thing that Portugal needs to take a note on from last game.
And Molfig just cleaning
when the
everything
Diva
up
goes in, the Brig was also there. The team is going in. The whole team's going in. They were too split.
Support line to back them up.
They were not playing like this. Team is playing as a team, as a unit.
And with the shields, there's nothing to be found from the self-destruct. Now they're going to have to pull out the
speed.
But the EMP from Shockwave, it could potentially turn the tide of this fight. Denmark is finding a lot of value off the back of Shockwave's ultimate, and there's not much to be done by Belgium. Still able to contest Shira onto the Doomfist now, and attempting to bully.
I think Denmark actually loses this. They do have Diva Bomb though. The Belgium spawns are right there.
Such a good job of doing it themselves. The Tracer Sombra has such good survivability against this team, and even Chaba having the rally now, looking to contest, but now it's going to leave Podnova on their own, even on the Kiriko. No survivability.
This is like 2 CP back in the days.
The Pulse Bomb comes through, but there is still so much contention from Denmark. The self-destruct finds Logix, and I'm not sure what Belgium
seconds,
can do
man.
now with round 1 complete and 3 points for Denmark.
It does get really scrappy there, and there's even that swap off over from Slay onto the Lucio that almost kind of like, you know, like hinders Denmark's chances there because they don't really have the healing to keep sustaining, and they have to play really carefully on the point, try and let the passive cart heals along with the AoE heals from the Brig and the Lucio come into play. But then Kelix dies on the Brig, swaps to the Moira, and then gets back to the fight, and suddenly you have a little bit more. And plus, like, as soon as Belgium comes out of the spawn there, Shockwave has the EMP. It just deletes, I believe it was Ken on the Sojourner who had the nano boost, so just takes that ultimate right out of the fight there. Even though he gives his life for that, it's enough to, like, it's enough for Denmark to claw their way forward just a little bit there. And they do cap with 40 seconds, but that's under a minute, and that's a really important timetable there for Hybrid, because this means if Belgium, you know, somehow sets like a rapid pace, like, you know, or sorry, this means if sorry, never mind. I'm just gonna completely derail my train of thought here. I have no problem looking like a fool. Denmark able to cap with time though. It would have been nice to get a little bit more, and they definitely have the potential to get a lot more there. But yeah, great stall out from Belgium, and now I want to see what they have to offer on the attack here, though.
It seems like it is just going to be that same comp they were running on the defense. They have decent power, especially since Logic's, those peaks and valleys that you mentioned, they are very prominent, especially in that last round, getting a lot of value in some fights, and others they're just being bullied out of the objective. Molfig going to take early stances close to the choke and just get some early damage down and eating the damage with the defense matrix as well. However, rest of the squad is still kind of sitting pretty back on the objective. Wouldn't be surprised to see Naga trying to fish for an early pick over onto the backline, especially since Brigitte not able to do much against the Echo. However, already Molfig out of mech means the Baby Diva very vulnerable, and Ken on their own. The anti-nade is going to prevent a death occasionally, but Molfig loses the mech for it.
That might be problematic if Belgium can regroup quickly, but I think it's going to, it's still going to be fine. Like, Molfig might not be in prime position when he finally gets back to the point, but he's still on the Diva, so he's going to get back relatively quickly. If Logix gets caught out here, though, that, like, kind of just throws everything down the well for Belgium, and they're going to have to take another fight here. More pressure coming onto the backline. Shockwave gets really low there. Denmark, like, they have to be careful here until Molfig is back at full strength.
Yeah, they're just going to take the brawl on high
Wimber,
ground.
Person of the Match in 2
Ken was
months.
completely caught out, looking towards the other side of the balcony rather than Shockwave's angle. Thought he was too busy fighting the Diva. Knows exactly where that Ana is as well. Lots of ticks going out on the Dynamite, and a little bit out of position. Logic's now running up onto Shockwave. Shockwave gets very low, but the Mercy does come in clutch once again and is able to heal all that damage right back up. Logix gets caught out
Damn, the
as
peel
well,
for when
it's
someone's
all just
diving their
Lord
DPS.
left
Wow.
over, and they are in a sticky situation. The Bob now thrown out, and Chaba trying to eat up the damage with the shield and the shield bash. However, still fighting in that room. Not going to be a good situation with the remech.
That's a double mech
The
remech kill there from Molfig
switch.
there on both
That is-
supports. So
That's what happens when you're in a small
On
room with
both
a Diva, I guess.
supports, the
So
squish.
Shockwave is using all of his dynamites to try and pressure the backline from Belgium, so Patanova and Chaba can't really get much of anything done. They finally built up to their ultimates, but it's more than 2 minutes off the clock. For Nano Boost, that's like one of the fastest charging ultimates there. Like, Belgium have all 5 now, but Denmark are just not letting them ever set up comfortably. They have to rally just to get out of this room that's like right outside of their spawn, and like that's not a good return on investment there. They still lose Patanova. They're not getting anything for this fight. They're just wasting time.
Molfig is literally already in their spawn, and it's just in and out with these boosters on the Diva, right? Shockwave is in a pretty bad position, though. Even the Mercy might not be able to heal all of this, but there's somehow not enough focus fire on the Ashe. She does finally go down, and the rest of the team is going to have to disengage without the damage from Shockwave being dished out up front, and Logix is now going to run up and try to capitalize off of the mistake Denmark made, but they're still unable to push past the joke because of all the harassment that Naga is putting on their backline. Finally, they're on the point. They're trying to capture. Kelix is in. Ooh, Kelix is able to survive that actually, but because of the Bob, they don't want to get into the LOS and going to go ahead and give up the point.
Kelix like tried to go in there with Molfig, but nearly got caught out, and they had to give up the high ground because of it. And in fact, give up the point just to keep Kelix alive. And by the time they come back, Ken is just hitting all the shots right now. The dynamite to prevent the remake from Molfig, the Bob being forced out from Shockwave. It falls, and Belgium capped the point.
Shockwave with the fucking headshot. Coach got up and get the kill on Ken. Damn, but they did lose. They did lose the point.
And the Nano Boost was expended to keep the Ashe and get that little bit of damage. Slay fighting Logix, so once again with the Biotic Nade, but Denmark very expensive from them, and they didn't even get the hold of the point off of it because of well-placed shield bash knocking that Bob off the point. So they have to build up to everything once again. Only thing they have is that Valkyrie, and it isn't even too valuable if you need that amount of sustain in terms of support ultimates, while Chaba has a rally coming up and a self-destruct already available.
Regardless, like Denmark, they still want to play really aggressive. Like Molfig is pushed up all the way to this corner. They're gonna get the DMAC onto Shira and force that self-destruct right out of the gates there. So there's an ultimate down the drain, a forced error. They're gonna try. They're not gonna let Logix just sit around for free. And meanwhile, Naga was lurking on the high ground, ready to pounce on a target that never quite came. But like, Denmark doesn't care about the ult advantage right now. They only care about making Belgium sweat.
Yeah, they just want to make sure Belgium does not get anywhere. This is not something you typically see teams doing, fighting so up close and personal.
Are you getting any sleep? Yeah, how you doing, Dustin?
But now with the rally coming through from Chaba, they're looking to force them back into the room, and Denmark does have to be forced to kite back.
Yeah, and Naga's gonna be lurking with a pulse bomb. Kellick's still holding on to that Valkyrie here, but Belgium, like, they're coming up on their DPS ult soon, but you kind of need more than that to force it through here, because this is a point where, like, traditionally on Numbani,
they're staying for the co-stream. Zara's my guy. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you don't
this is the first year they're allowing us to co-stream, and I fucking love it.
Naga just sticks a pulse bomb right on his forehead, calls it a day, and that should be a dead push from Belgium, even more so now that they've lost Logics as well. Yeah, everyone just forced back. Naga wants to go for a stagger, though. If they lose Potanova here, that's disastrous, because that's even more time taken.
Oh, they're able to keep Potanova in. Chaba's doing a great job of defending the Ana, and they just have to go for it and allow them to retreat at this point. But they're in a good position to try and jump on them. Naga really wants to try and sit in these rooms and also get the picks onto Logic, stop them from harassing their backline. The Valkyrie does come through with the anti-nade, was on the supports for a moment, and the Bob comes through from Shockwave, but Shockwave goes down almost immediately. The Valkyrie is still active. A res possible for Denmark, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be using it. Logix, however, wins the Tracer 1v1 with the help of a Pulse Bomb, and Ken has now switched onto the Cassidy as well. Checkpoint is pushing a little bit further. They're only 3 meters away from getting on, and they are being hotly contested by Denmark for every single inch that they want to push forward.
Oh,
Naga,
what a stick by Naga too. Yeah, I think Denmark is just the stronger team here.
Stuck onto Chaba, even through the shield.
I don't know. I've seen Belgium play for the past like few days, and it doesn't seem they look like they have a good strong team, but I don't know what's the issue. They're just not winning.
They have so many players on the objective. They have so much damage. Shira has no sustain, and now the Baby Diva, there is nothing to be done. Denmark is able to take this series 2-0.